I never thought a spilled carton of organic almond milk would turn me into public enemy #1 for a Silicon Valley diva. She stormed up like she owned the damn planet, screeching that I'd assaulted her cart with my clumsiness, demanding I drop to my knees and apologize on the spot. And when I laughed, because it wouldn't, she whipped out a shiny badge and declared herself an officer, slapping a fake $500 fine right in my face. That was the moment I knew this Karen wasn't just entitled. She was unhinged. Her name was Victoria Torrey Langford, CEO of some overhyped tech startup called Apex Dynamics, the kind that promises to disrupt everything from coffee brewing to world peace. I'd seen her type before, 40-something, Botox-frozen smile, always one passive-aggressive email away from a meltdown. But this was next-level delusion. We were in the heart of Palo Alto, California, that sunny slice of suburbia where Teslas outnumber potholes and everyone's got a podcast about mindfulness. It was a Tuesday afternoon in late spring, the air thick with the scent of eucalyptus and overpriced lattes. I just finished a shift at the local Whole Foods, restocking shelves as a part-time gig to pay for my community college classes in graphic design. Nothing glamorous, but kept the ramen in my cupboard and the dreams in my head. The spill happened innocently enough. I was wheeling a pallet of dairy alternatives down aisle 7 when my foot caught on a rogue shopping basket some kid had abandoned. The carton tumbled, white liquid splattering across the floor like abstract art gone wrong. A few shoppers gasped, but most just sidestepped it with that practiced West Coast nonchalance. I was already grabbing the mop from the back when she appeared, blonde bob haircut sharper than her tongue, Lululemon yoga pants screaming, "I work from home, but still crush it," and a designer tote slung over one shoulder like a weapon. "Excuse me." Her voice sliced through the ambient hum of refrigerators and indie folk music piping from the speakers. She planted herself in front of the mess, arms crossed, blocking my path like a human barricade. "Do you have any idea what you've done? That's a hazard. My cart's wheels are soaked. Do you know how much these babies cost? Imported from Italy." I blinked, mop in hand, trying to process. "Ma'am, I'm so sorry. It's just almond milk. I'll clean it up right now, and we can comp you a new carton if it splashes stuff." Her eyes narrowed, lips pursing into that signature Karen pout, the one that says, "I didn't ask for your opinion. I asked for your submission." "Comp me? Oh, honey, you think a free carton fixes this? This is negligence. Corporate sabotage. I'll have your manager here in seconds, and you'll be flipping burgers by sundown." A small crowd started to gather, phones subtly angled for the inevitable TikTok gold. I felt my cheeks heat up, that familiar knot of embarrassment twisting in my gut. Growing up in a trailer park on the outskirts of Fresno, I'd learned early that folks like her saw people like me as speed bumps on their road to enlightenment. But I wasn't about to grovel. "Look, it's an accident. No one's hurt. Let me just—" She cut me off with a theatrical gasp, clutching her chest like I'd shot her. "Accident? This is assault. You deliberately rammed into me. I could sue this store into oblivion. Apex Dynamics has lawyers who'd eat you alive for breakfast." She name-dropped her company like it was a superpower, the kind of flex that works in boardrooms but flops hard in the real world. I straightened up, forcing a calm I didn't feel. "Ma'am, please, step aside, and I'll handle the cleanup. Security's just over there if you want to file a report." That did it. Her face went from pink to crimson, veins bulging at her temples. "Security? Oh, I'll give you security. You think you're dealing with some soccer mom here? I'm Victoria Langford, and I know the law inside out." With a flourish that screamed rehearsed drama, she reached into her tote and pulled out a laminated card, gold embossed, complete with a holographic badge that looked like it came from a costume shop on Haight Street. "I'm a sworn auxiliary officer with the Palo Alto PD, and for endangering public safety, I'm fining you $500 on the spot. Pay up, or I'll cuff you myself." The aisle went dead silent. Then a ripple of murmurs. Someone whispered, "Is she for real?" Another chuckled nervously. I stared at the badge, my brain short-circuiting. Auxiliary officer? In Palo Alto? I'd lived here 2 years, volunteered at the community center, even took a Citizens Police Academy course for kicks. That wasn't a thing, not like this. It was a glorified parking enforcer gig at best, and even then, no fines on the fly. "You're finding me?" I echoed, half laughing despite the adrenaline spike. "Lady, that's not how this works. That's fake as hell." Her eyes blazed. "Fake? How dare you? This is official. Hand over the cash, or I'll call on the real boys in blue to haul your sorry ass away for resisting an officer." She thrust the card under my nose, her perfume, a cloying mix of vanilla and entitlement, making my eyes water. That's when I snapped a photo with my phone. Discreetly, but not too discreetly. The click echoed like a gunshot in the tension. Her face twisted further. "Did you just take my picture? That's a violation of privacy. I'll have you arrested for stalking." The manager, a hairy guy named Raj who'd seen every flavor of crazy, hustled over. "Folks, let's all take a breath. Torai, Ms. Langford, what seems to be the issue?" She whirled on him, badge still clutched like a talisman. "This employee's a menace. Spilled product everywhere, assaulted my cart, and now he's defaming me. Fine him, or I'll escalate to corporate. Apex is a major vendor. Remember that wellness app integration we discussed?" Raj's face paled. Whole Foods loved its tech partnerships, and Apex had been sniffing around for a sustainable sourcing deal. But he wasn't stupid. He glanced at the badge, then at me, then back. Ma'am, that auxiliary program doesn't authorize on-site fines. Maybe we can comp your entire basket and call it even." "Comp." She spat the word like it was poison. "I want justice. This is America. Pay for your crimes." She jabbed a manicured finger at my chest, close enough I could see the diamond tennis bracelet glinting under the lights. The crowd was fully invested now, a mix of Gen Z influencers live streaming and boomer retirees shaking their heads. One guy in a Stanford hoodie muttered, "Classic Karen move." She heard it, of course, and rounded on him like a viper. "Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean? You think this is funny? I'll have your license plate for doxing." "Doxing? Over almond milk?" I couldn't help it. I burst out laughing. Full-bellied, can't-breathe guffaws that echoed off the organic quinoa shelves. It wasn't just the absurdity. It was the power trip, the way she wielded her CEO status like a club, expecting the world to duck. That laugh was her undoing. Or maybe the beginning of it. She froze, then lunged forward, snatching at my phone. "Delete that. Now." Her nails raked my arm, drawing a thin line of blood. The crowd gasped for real this time. Raj stepped in, gently but firmly guiding her back. "Ms. Langford, that's enough. Security, please escort her out." But she wasn't done. "Oh no." As the off-duty cop moonlighting at the door approached, she straightened her blazer and declared, "Fine. But this isn't over. I'll make sure he never works in this town again. And you," she pointed at Raj, "kiss that partnership goodbye." With that, she stormed toward the exit, tossing her half-full basket of kale and kombucha like confetti. I watched her go, heart pounding, arms stinging. The photo on my phone showed it all. The fake badge, her snarling face, the Whole Foods logo in the background. It was gold. Pure viral gold. But as I mopped up the milk, a darker thought crept in. This wasn't just a bad day for her. It was a symptom. Karens like Tori didn't fade into the woodwork. They doubled down. And if she was willing to fake a badge over spilled milk, what else would she do? Little did I know, she was already plotting. By the time I clocked out and headed to my beat-up Honda Civic in the employee lot, my phone was blowing up. Notifications from Instagram, Twitter, hell, even LinkedIn. Someone had posted the video, and it was spreading like wildfire. Karen of the Week was trending locally, with comments roasting her from CEO of Delusions Incorporated to when your TED Talk on empowerment goes wrong. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, a chill settled in my bones. Because in the replies, under a throwaway account, was a direct message. "You think this is funny? Watch your back, loser." VL. Victoria Langford wasn't done. Not by a long shot. And as I drove home to my cramped apartment off El Camino Real, the sun dipping low over the Santa Cruz Mountains, I realized this spill wasn't just almond milk. It was blood in the water. The DM sat there like a venomous spider in my notifications, but I tried to shake it off. It was probably just some intern of hers venting online. Karens never get their hands dirty, right? Wrong. The next morning, as I scroll through my feed over a bowl of generic cornflakes, the internet had fully erupted. The video had hit 500K views overnight, courtesy of a local influencer who'd been in the aisle. Comments poured in, "This is why we can't have nice things. Peak 2025 entitlement." And my personal favorite, "She fined him for almond milk? That's nuts." Hashtags multiplied like rabbits. Fake badge Karen, Palo Alto power trip, spill the Tianzos. By noon, my inbox was a war zone. Reporters from the San Jose Mercury News wanted quotes. A podcaster offered me a guest spot to spill the real milk. Even my mom, down in Fresno, texted, "Saw you on the news, me, Joe. Proud of you for standing up. But be careful, those rich folks played dirty." She wasn't wrong. I'd grown up hearing stories of how the elite in California treat the rest of us like NPCs in their simulation. But this felt personal now, like I'd poked a hornet's nest with a selfie stick. I decided to lean in. Why not? If Tori wanted war, I'd give her memes. I posted the photo on my rarely used Twitter account, @GroceryGuru420, a joke handle for my stoner phase, with a caption, "When your CEO energy meets a $2 carton. Who wears it better, me or her fake badge?" It got 200 likes in an hour. Harmless fun, I thought. A way to reclaim the narrative before she lawyered up and sued me for defamation. That's when the backlash hit. Not from her directly, but from her army. Apex Dynamics social media minions descended like bots on steroids. "This is slander. Tori Langford is a trailblazer in women's empowerment," one posted. Another, "Fake news. That badge is legit. Boycott Whole Foods." Legit? I snorted into my coffee. A quick Google search confirmed it. Auxiliary officers in Palo Alto were volunteers who handed out flyers at farmers markets, not traffic cops with fine powers. Her badge was about as official as a Disney pin. But the real kicker came that afternoon. I was in my graphic design class at Foothill College, doodling logos on my tablet, when my phone buzzed with a call from an unknown number. I picked up, expecting a telemarketer. Instead, a polished voice purred. "Mr. Ramirez? This is Elena from Apex Dynamics. Ms. Langford would like to schedule a mediated discussion regarding yesterday's incident." Mediated? Sounded like code for pay us hush money or else. I leaned back in my creaky desk chair, the classroom's AC humming like a distant beehive. "Tell Ms. Langford I'm flattered, but mediation starts with an apology, and maybe returning that fake badge to the Halloween store." A pause, then a frosty laugh. "Bold, but consider this. Apex has deep pockets and deeper connections. One word from us, and your little gig of Whole Foods? Poof. And those college loans? We can make them complicated. Threats now?" My blood boiled. This wasn't just entitlement. It was extortion wrapped in corporate jargon. "Lady, you just admitted to witness tampering on a recorded line. Good luck with that in court." She hung up without another word. I sat there, heart racing, as my professor droned on about color theory. Irony at its finest. My world was turning grayscale, all because of one woman's ego. That evening, I met up with my buddy Marco at our usual spot, a dive bar called the Codebreaker off University Avenue. He was a barista by day, aspiring coder by night, with tattoos snaking up his arms like circuit boards. Over cheap IPAs, I spilled the saga, showing him the DM and the call log. "Dude," he said, eyes wide, "this is straight out of a bad Netflix thriller. You gotta go public. Hit her where it hurts, the boardroom." He was right. A quick search revealed Apex was prepping for a big funding round, pitching to VCs in Sand Hill Road. Their brand was all about ethical innovation and inclusive leadership. A viral Karen meltdown didn't exactly scream, "Invest in us." So I did what any red-blooded American with a grudge and Wi-Fi would do. I crowdsourced. Posted a thread on Reddit's r/Palo Alto, detailing the fine, the badge, the threats. Apex CEO Tori Langford, from boardrooms to badge forging. Who's got receipts? The updates rolled in. Tips flooded. Former employees spilling tea about her temper tantrums. A leaked email where she bragged about volunteer credentials to dodge parking tickets. By midnight, the thread had 10K upvotes. Local news picked it up, and suddenly, Tori's LinkedIn was a battlefield of unfollows. I crashed on Marco's couch, phone on Do Not Disturb, dreaming of spilled milk turning into a tidal wave. But Tori? She wasn't one to drown quietly. The next day started with a bang, or rather, a subpoena delivered to Whole Foods while I was on break. Cease and desist, it read, from some high-powered firm in Menlo Park. Accusations of libel, harassment, even corporate espionage. Espionage? Over almond milk? I laughed so hard I nearly choked on my turkey sandwich. Raj pulled me aside in the break room, his face a mask of worry. Alex, this is getting ugly. Corporate's breathing down my neck. Apex threatened to pull their vendor status. That's millions in organic tech tie-ins. Guilt gnawed at me. Raj, I didn't ask for this circus. He clapped a hand on my shoulder, his accent warm as ever. I know, kid, but maybe lay low. Take a few days off paid. Let the lawyers duke it out. Lay low. In Palo Alto? That was like telling a surfer to avoid the beach during a swell. I nodded, but inside, resolve hardened. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about every underpaid stalker, every gig worker she'd steamrolled on her climb to the C-suite. If she wanted escalation, I'd give her napalm. That night, alone in my apartment with the hum of the freeway outside, I dug deeper. Hired a freelance PI through a shady Upwork gig. $200 I couldn't really spare, but worth it. Find out everything on Victoria Langford, I typed. Badges, lawsuits, skeletons. The report landed at 2 a.m. Juiciest bits first. She'd volunteered for the auxiliary program 6 months ago. After a DUI, she paid to expunge. The badge? Customized from an online novelty site, same one that sells FBI keychains. But the real dirt, a string of complaints from ex-employees. Sexual harassment suits settled out of court. One involving a male intern she allegedly mentored into therapy. And get this, a restraining order from her ex-husband, citing delusional power plays like forging documents to prove she was a cop during their divorce. Jackpot. Armed with PDFs and timestamps, I anonymized it all and fed it to a journalist at the Mercury News I connected with via Twitter. Off the record for now, I said in our call. But if she sues, drop the hammer. He chuckled. Kid, in this town, Karens like her are two a penny. But a CEO? That's front page catnip. As I hung up, another DM pinged. This one from a verified account at Tora Langford's O. You think you're clever, Ramirez? Meet me tomorrow. Coffee shop on California Avenue. 10 a.m. Come alone, or the world sees your dirty laundry. My dirty laundry? I had parking tickets and a juvie record from shoplifting candy at 14, small potatoes. But curiosity that American Vice won out. I replied, see you there. Bring the badge. And your checkbook. Sleep came fitful, haunted by visions of gold shields and white spills. Little did I know, our meeting would be the spark that lit her empire on fire. The coffee shop was one of those Instagram-perfect spots. Exposed brick, pour-over brews named after philosophers, baristas with sleeve tattoos, and existential dread. I arrived early, nursing a black drip in the corner booth, put up like a low-budget spy. At 10:05, she swept in, Ray-Bans perched on her head like a crown, accompanied by a weaselly guy in a suit who screamed litigation lackey. Alex, she said, sliding into the seat opposite without invitation. No handshake, just a glacial stare. Or should I say, grocery guru? Cute handle. Very. Millennial. Ms. Langford. Thanks for coming. I ordered you a latte. Oat milk, right? Wouldn't want any spills. Her lackey snorted, but she waved him silent. Charming. Look, I'm a busy woman. Apex is launching our equity fund next week. I don't have time for peasant vendettas. $5,000. Cash. Sign this NDA, delete your posts, and we call it square. $5,000? That could cover my tuition for a semester, maybe fix the Civic's transmission. Tempting. But then I remembered the rake marks on my arm, the threats, the fake badge waved like a guillotine. 5? For impersonating an officer? That's a misdemeanor, Tori. Felony if you used it to extort. She leaned forward, voice dropping to a conspiratorial hiss. Extort? Please. That was role play. Empowerment exercise. You boys get so triggered by strong women. Triggered? I bit back a retort, sliding my phone across the table. The PI report glowed on the screen, blurred just enough to tease. Strong women don't forge badges or settle harassment claims, or stalk ex-employees on LinkedIn at 3 a.m. Funny how empowerment looks a lot like desperation. Her eyes flicked to the screen, color draining from her cheeks. The lackey reached for the phone, but I yanked it back. Nah, that's the appetizer. Main course is going to the Merc tomorrow. Unless what? She snapped, composure cracking like thin ice. You resign. Publicly. Admit the badge was fake, apologize to me and Whole Foods. Donate that $5,000 to a workers' rights fund. Oh, and therapy. For the delusions. She laughed, a brittle, shattering sound. Resign? To you? Some stock boy with a chip on his shoulder? Dream on, Ramirez. I'll bury you. My board? Untouchable. Investors? Loyal. And the PD? They owe me favors from that charity gala. Favors. The word hung heavy. Palo Alto's elite ran on them like crypto on hype. But I had one ace, the crowd. Tick-tock, Tory. You're funding rounds in 48 hours. Imagine the pitch. Invest in U.S., unless you like fake cops and HR nightmares. The lackey whispered something, and she shot him a glare that could curdle cream. Then, to me, you have no idea who you're messing with. My ex tried this, ended up blackballed from every VC in the Bay. She stood, tossing a 20 on the table like alms. Retract by noon, I unleash hell. Hell, I take a latte over brimstone any day. As she flounced out, I snapped a quick pic of her retreating back, blurry, but the power suit was unmistakable. Posted it to the Reddit thread, coffee date with the badge lady. Spoiler, no cream, extra bitter. Karen Chronicle. The replies exploded. By lunch, it was at $50K. Tips poured in. A former board member confirming the harassment payouts. A leaked internal memo about her creative licensing with credentials. The internet, that great equalizer, was feasting. But Tori fought dirty. That afternoon, as I grabbed tacos with Marco, my phone lit up with alerts. Fake reviews tanking my non-existent Yelp page. Anonymous posts on Nextdoor calling me a thug employee with a criminal past. Then, the big one, a press release from Apex. Addressing misinformation, our CEO's commitment to community safety. It painted her as a hero, the badge a misunderstood volunteer tool, me as a disgruntled agitator. Cute, but too late. The Mercury News dropped their piece at 5 p.m. Tech CEO's fake badge fiasco, from supermarket showdown to potential charges. Quotes from the PI report, sanitized, the video embedded, even a Palo Alto PD statement. No such fine authority exists. Impersonation under investigation. Her Twitter imploded. Resign Tarai trended nationwide. VCs pulled out like rats from a sinking ship. By dinner, Apex stock, what little public traded, dipped 15%. Marco high-fived me over burritos. You did it, man. David 1, Goliath 0. But victory tasted like ash. As I scrolled the carnage, her tearful Insta live denying everything, bored emails leaking like sieves, a new DM hit. Not from her. From an unknown. She's coming for you. For real. Lock your doors. Paranoia prickled. Was this her endgame? Smear wasn't enough. Now, escalation to threats? I called the cops, filed a report. Officer Ramirez, irony noted, took my statement with a sympathetic nod. We'll patrol your block. But man like that, they lawyer up before lunch. He was right. By morning, the subpoena upgraded to a full lawsuit. $2 million for intentional infliction of emotional distress. Emotional? Try indignant. I lawyered up too. Pro bono from a legal aid clinic run by ex-Google whistleblowers. This is winnable, my attorney, a fierce Latina named Sophia, assured me. Impersonation's a crime. Her house of cards crumbles under scrutiny. Scrutiny came swift. The PD raided her office that week, seizing files on volunteer props. Turns out, she flashed the badge at least 3 times. HOA dispute, a road rage beef, even skip a line at Disneyland. Each victim came forward, a chorus of Karen slayers. Tori's empire unraveled thread by thread. Board ousted her in an emergency meeting. Leaked Zoom call going viral. Victoria, your leadership style is toxic AF. Investors fled, funding round DOA. Her ex-husband posted a cryptic "Karma's a beach" with a photo of their old beach house for sale. I watched it all from my apartment, a strange mix of triumph and nausea. This woman, who'd built a kingdom on bluster, was reduced to pleading posts, witch hunt, misogyny. But the crowd had turned. Women who cheered her girl boss vibe now called out the hypocrisy. Then the call came. Sophia, voice tight. Alex, she's pleading. Want to sit down. No lawyers. Just you and her. My stomach flipped. What? Closure, maybe. Or a trap. Your call. I thought of the spilled milk, the fake shine of that badge. Tell her park by the bay. Neutral ground. Sunset. As the sun dipped toward the Pacific that Friday, I arrived at Shoreline Park, wind whipping off the water, carrying salt and secrets. She was there alone on a bench, no power suit, just jeans and a hoodie, looking smaller than the seagulls wheeling overhead. Alex, she said, voice raw. No Tori, just Victoria. You win. I sat, keeping distance. This isn't chess. It's accountability. Tears welled, real ones this time. I was scared. The funding. It's everything. I thought the badge would scare you off. Make you back down like everyone else. Everyone else? She nodded, staring at the waves. Interns, rivals. I built Apex from nothing. A single mom in a man's world. But the pressure, it warps you. Sympathy flickered unbidden. I clawed my way up too, from Fresno Fields to Foothill Sketches. But warping? That's a choice. You could have apologized. Day one. Apologize? To you. A ghost of the old fire. Then sigh. Maybe. God, what a mess. The wind picked up, carrying her words away. I'm stepping down. Therapy, like you said. The badge? Donating it to a museum of bad decisions. I almost smiled. And the $5,000? To your fund. Workers first. We sat in silence as the sky bled orange. Not forgiveness, too soon, but understanding. The Karen wasn't born. She was forged in the fire of unchecked ambition. As I drove home, radio buzzing with the scandal's coda, I felt lighter. Not a hero, just a guy who mopped up a spill and refused to slip. In America, that's sometimes enough. But wait, no epilogue yet. Because 2 weeks later, the real twist dropped. Tori's therapy reveal? A sham. Leaked emails showed she'd been plotting a countersuit, bribing a PD insider for dirt on me. The feds got involved. Wire fraud, obstruction. Handcuffs clicked for real this time, not costume ones. Last I heard, she's in county trading boardrooms for bunk beds. Apex? Sold off in pieces. And me? Back at Whole Foods, but with a raise and a book deal brewing. Spilled milk teaches lessons, after all. Sometimes, it's the sweetest revenge. The arrest made headlines, but not the kind she craved. Fallen tech titan faces federal charges screamed the Chronicle, with a mugshot that stripped away the filters and the facade. Victoria Langford, once the darling of TechCrunch galas, now looked like just another defendant in orange scrubs. Hair limp, eyes hollow. The feds had pieced it together. The forged badge wasn't a one-off prop. It was part of the kit. Fake IDs, scripted citations. Even a burner phone logged with calls to a crooked sergeant who'd moonlighted as her fixer. She'd been running a shadow racket, finding enemies from HOAs to hecklers at her keynotes, pocketing thousands under the table. I saw the story pop up on my phone while waiting for an oil change at the Jiffy Lube on Embarcadero. The mechanic, a grizzled vet named Hank, peered over my shoulder. That the almond milk lady? Damn, son. You started a revolution with a mop. Revolution? Nah, but ripple effects, sure. Whole Foods rolled out employee empowerment training, mandatory sessions on spotting impersonators and de-escalating divas. My name got a quiet nod in the memo, and Raj slipped me an extra shift during the holiday rush. Marco, ever the hype man, framed a printout of the Mercury piece above his couch. To Alex, for turning spills into spills the beans. Life normalized, or as normal as it gets in the Bay. Classes ramped up. I aced a portfolio review with a series of posters mocking corporate Karens. Satirical, not slanderous. Sophia, my lawyer, became a mentor, hooking me up with an internship in nonprofit fighting workplace bullying. "You've got the eye for injustice," she said over phone one night. "Use it." But Tori's ghost lingered. Not in threats. Those dried up with her arraignment, but in echoes. Random DMs from fans. "You're why I quit my toxic job." Or, "She ruined my life too. Thank for the takedown." And the hate mail, of course. MAGA trolls calling me a woke snowflake ruining America. Feminists split between solidarity with Tory and not all girl bosses. Controversy's a double-edged sword. It cuts deep, but pays the bills. My Twitter following hit 5K, landing me a side hustle ghost tweeting for a local activist group. One crisp October evening, as fog rolled in from the bay like a bad omen, I got the call that shattered the calm. Unknown number, but I picked up. Paranoia makes you jumpy. "Mr. Ramirez?" "Detective Lau, Palo Alto PD. We need you to come in. Regarding Langford." My gut dropped. What now? Witness something. A pause. Papers rustling. More like accomplice. Accomplice? The word echoed like a bad dream. I drove to the station in a daze, Civic's wipers slapping at a drizzle that hadn't started. The interrogation room was straight out of a cop show. Gray walls, one-way mirror, coffee that tasted like regret. Lau, a no-nonsense Asian woman with a badge as real as they come, slid a file across the table. "Langford's talking. A lot. Claims you blackmailed her into the countersuit scheme." "Blackmail?" I laughed, sharp and disbelieving. "Me? The guy she tried to fine over milk?" "Check the timelines. She started this circus." Lau nodded, sympathetic but steely. "We have. Mostly checks out. But here's the rub. She says you planted the PI report, paid off ex-employees to fabricate dirt. And that park meeting? She taped it. Swears you threatened her into therapy as cover for the feds." The tape. Shit. I'd forgotten mics in the age of always on. Lau hit play on a grainy audio file. My voice, therapy for the delusions. Hers, trembling, maybe, cut and dried, if you squinted wrong. I didn't plan anything. I protested, palms sweating. The PI was legit. Exes came forward organic. Ask Reddit. She leaned back, tapping a pen. "We will. But Langford's got pull. Her lawyer's pushing immunity for her if she flips on co-conspirators. You're Exhibit A. Hours blurred, statements, alibis, a polygraph that left me wrung out. By midnight, Lau released me with a "don't leave town." Marco picked me up, face thunderous. "This is bullshit. She's playing victim from a cell." He was right. Tori's strategy crystallized. Portray herself as the real casualty, me as the vengeful stalker. Her Insta-live from rehab, house arrest, really, went viral again. Betrayed by a man who couldn't handle a strong woman. Me Too Tech. Hashtags twisted like knives. My supporters rallied. Justice for Alex trended, but the narrative shifted. Late night shows quipped, from Karen to martyr, the almond milk redemption arc. Sleep evaded me that night, apartment walls closing in. I paced, replaying every word, every photo. Had I gone too far? Pushed her into a corner where fraud seemed like escape? No. She chose the badge, the bribes. But doubt gnawed. American guilt's favorite chew toy. Dawn brought clarity, courtesy of Sophia's 6 a.m. text. Innocent. Got the full tape. Your threat was sarcasm. Exes verified independently. Feds see through her crap. But heads up, she's suing civilly. $10 million now. $10 million? For a stock boy? Laughable but exhausting. The lawsuit dropped like a bomb. Malicious prosecution. Intentional harm to reputation. Her angle. I orchestrated the witch hunt to destroy a female pioneer. Media ate it up. Op-eds debating cancel culture versus accountability. Cable news pitting blue-collar hero against feminist icon. I hunkered down, but the toll mounted. Whole Foods temporarily sidelined me. PR nightmare, Alex. Classes suffered. Sketches turned dark, all shadows and shattered shields. Marco dragged me to therapy a campus counselor who specialized in viral trauma. You're not the villain, she said gently, but you're carrying her chaos. Carrying? Yeah. Tori's chaos was metastatic. Subpoenas for my emails, depositions dragging old wounds. That juvie beef resurfaced, twisted into criminal propensity. Neighbors whispered, dates ghosted after Googling me. Then, the breaking point. Late November, rain lashing the windows like accusations, a package arrived. No return address, just my name in block letters. Inside, the fake badge snapped in half, wrapped around a note. You wanted this. Now live with it. The real victim. Rage boiled over. I drove straight to the station, slamming it on Lau's desk. Trace this. She's escalating from behind bars. Forensics worked fast. Prints matched her cellmate, a hacker chick she'd befriended, in lockup. Bingo. Tori's reach extended even there, puppeteering from a cot. The feds added witness intimidation to her docket. Her plea deal evaporating like morning mist. Christmas came subdued. Mom visited, stuffing my fridge with tamales and tough love. Mijo, let it go. She's poison. Don't let her fester. Wise words, but fester it did. New Year's Eve, Marco and I hit a house party in Mountain View. Fireworks popping, bass thumping. As midnight struck, my phone buzzed. Apex remnants sold to a rival. Proceeds garnished for victims' restitution. Including me. A cool $50,000 check incoming. Vindication, round 2. But the real win? Dropping the lawsuit. Tori's lawyer called Sophia. Clients folding. No more fight. Turns out, her martyr act tanked her last allies. Even a Me Too crowd bailed when the fraud details hit. Spring thawed the chill. I returned to Whole Foods, promoted to shift lead. The internship bloomed into a full-time gig at the nonprofit, designing campaigns against workplace tyrants. Marco landed a dev job at a startup that actually paid living wage. And Tori? Sentenced to 3 years federal, plus restitution. Her last public words, in a courtroom sketch artist's rendering. Head bowed, no camera flash to hide behind. I visited once, against Sophia's advice. Through plexiglass, she looked frail, the Botox faded. Why, she croaked. To see if you're sorry. A beat. I am. For the milk. For everything. Liar or not, it closed the loop. As I walked out into the California sun, badge halves in my pocket like talismans, I felt free. Not because she broke, but because I didn't. In the end, the spill wasn't just milk. It was the crack in her armor, the wave that washed away the grime. America loves a comeback, but sometimes the real story's in the cleanup. And damn, did it shine. Epilogues are for movies, but life doesn't fade to credits. 6 months post-sentencing, the check cleared, and I did what any sensible ex-stock boy would. Paid off loans, bought a used Prius, EcoFlex for the Bay, and booked a solo trip to Yosemite. Fresh air to scrub the last stains of the saga. Hiking Half Dome, granite biting my palms, wind howling like Tori's rants, I finally exhaled. The view, endless Sierras under a sky bluer than her lies, reminded me, peaks are earned, not faked. Back home, the nonprofit gig evolved. I led a workshop series, from spill to stand, spotting and stopping Karens in the wild. Attendees, nurses, teachers, gig drivers, shared war stories, laughter mixing with tears. One session, a young barista echoed my tale. My manager pulled a badge once. Fake but scary. We crowdsourced coping kits, body cams, union hotlines, meme templates. Empowerment, real edition. Marco threw a badge bash party. Ironic toast with almond milk shots. A piñata shaped like a power suit stuffed with fake subpoenas. To Alex, he slurred, the guy who mopped the floor with a CEO. Laughter roared, but underneath, gratitude. We'd all been there, small against the storm. Tori's absence echoed in odd ways. Apex's carcass birthed a co-op startup, worker-owned, focused on ethical AI. They reached out. Your story inspired us. Want to consult on branding? I did, sketching logos that screamed transparency. No shiny badges, just open circuits. It paid better than stalker wages, with equity that felt earned. Dating resumed, tentative. Met Lena at a design meetup, tattooed illustrator with a laugh like summer. Over tacos and the mission, I confessed the saga. Hero or fool? I joked. She grinned, salsa dripped. Human. That's hotter. Our first kiss, under string lights in a taqueria, buzzing with life, tasted like possibility. No spills, no fines, just us. But scars linger. A nightmare here, a flinch at gold laminates there. Therapy helped unpack it. You didn't just fight her, you fought the system that bred her. True, America's grind glorifies the hustle, but forgets the human cost. Tori was symptom, not disease, fueled by VCs chasing unicorns, boards turning blind eyes, a culture that confuses volume for value. One fall day, leaf peeping in the peninsula, Sophia called. Langford's appealing. Pro SE now, fired her lawyers. I groaned. Let her. Cells have no Wi-Fi for ants. She laughed. Damn right. Hey, dinner? Celebrate your first exhibit. Exhibit? I'd parlayed the Karen posters into a gallery show. Entitled Exposures, satirical prints blending Whole Foods fluorescence with shattered shields. Opening night, crowd thick, reporters, activists, even Raj with a six-pack of oat milk. Lena squeezed my hand as I toasted. To the spills that start stories. May we all mop with grace. Flashbulbs popped, but no fakes among them. Later, buzzed on craft IPAs, a familiar face approached. The ex-husband, salt and pepper charming. Saw the show. Spot on. She always collected badges like trophies. We clinked glasses. Trophies break. He nodded. Learned that the hard way. Thanks for the push. Push. Yeah, I'd given her one, unwittingly. Divorce finalized post-arrest. Assets split fair. He was starting a nonprofit too. Second chances for suits. Retraining execs in humility. Holidays hit different that year. Mom's tamales came with a side of pride. My son's on TV again. Good trouble. MLK nod, Fresno style. We drove to Big Sur for New Year's. Waves crashing like applause. No DMs, no subpoenas, just salt air and stars. Spring brought bloom. Lena and I move in together. A sunny flat in Redwood City, balcony overlooking Oaks. My Prius got a facelift. Marco crashed weekly, coding by day, DJing by night. The nonprofit expanded, chapters in LA and Seattle. Alex Ramirez, accidental activist, a profile quipped. Accidental? Maybe, but intentional now. Tori's appeal tanked, pro SE folly. Last dispatch, transferred to a low SEC camp in Nevada. Reflective programming mandatory. Rumors of a memoir, cuffed. A CEO's fall. I'd pass. Her words lost shine without an audience. One muggy July 4th, fireworks blooming over the bay, Lena and I picnicked on the grass. Sparklers fizzled. She leaned in. What's next, hero? I grinned, almond milk toast raised. More spills. Better mops. She kissed me, fireworks real this time. In America's messy canvas, entitlements and comebacks, fakes and forgives, the story didn't end. It refilled, carton by carton. And damn, it tasted sweet. Years later, I tell the tale to my kid, hypothetical, for now, over breakfast. Once, a CEO tried to find daddy for milk. But here's the secret. Spills happen. What matters? How you clean. And in that, the hook closes, not with arrest or acclaim, but quiet strength. The kind that doesn't need a badge to shine.